My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief,
My name is Prentice.
Yo, and I'm Butter.
and my man Butter's joining us today. Bell was on the road doing his business thing, so we got Butter in to have a conversation with us. Mister Doctor Adrian White should be joining us at some point too to join the conversation. But we here doing what we do. We happy to be back. Y'all shoot us an email. Let us know y'all happy for us to be back so we can keep this train rolling. If anything y'all need us to talk about, hit us in the email, allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com, and we can get this thing rolling. Fellas, it's good to see you. I didn't get the memo with it, I'm saying, the
Yellow
I don't
beanie.
even, yeah, the yellow beanie. I don't even know what color, what I mean? That joint, but I need to get mine on. Yo, what's good, fellas? How we feeling? How we living? P, it's good to see you, bro. Check in, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. What? 3 days? Shoot, 2 days as of tomorrow to Grammy nominations, right? So
Word.
we get the word on that in like 3 days,
Congratulations,
man.
congratulations in advance.
Oh
You know what
man,
I'm
we got a
saying?
speaker. You already know, man. I'm gonna tell you congratulations too, cause you on it too. So that's what 2 days, 3 days from now. I got a dip tomorrow to Arizona. Sarai's cousin is getting married. Shout out to Kyle, man. So
Shout out to
uh
Kyle.
he has me perform. You remember Kyle? He was one of the
Yeah,
groomsmen.
who
Yeah.
officiating the wedding? Ask Kyle why he ain't hit me. What's up with him, yo?
Right. I told him too. So he got me doing a poem at his wedding too, which is
Oh,
cool and an
that's what's
honor,
up.
man.
That's definitely what's up. You
Um,
I want to hear that joint when we hang up.
yeah, I'll let you hear it. Kids are good. Pilates studio is running in motion, man. I'm back teaching in the classroom in Oakland. Everything is well, man. I can't complain. Like I'm dirt tired right now, but all for a good reason. Everything's productive, and it's not from stress. You know what I mean? It's just you in motion. When you in motion, this comes with it. So everything is well. Tahir made the he has his last tryout today, but he already yesterday made the JV hoop team as a
Okay,
freshman, which is dope.
that's what's up. And
Um,
do they have freshman teams out there or just varsity and JV?
Nah, they got a freshman team, a JV team, and a
Okay,
varsity
tip.
team. Yeah, yeah. So they've been putting in work, man. And Anaya's starting the top volleyball club in Northern California. So, they got some talent and some skill, man. I'm trying to get me an athlete like you.
That's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up. I'm gonna definitely shoot out there and catch one of them games, bro, for sure. Just
Yeah,
pop up,
man. You gotta
being
fall
wild
through.
obnoxious.
Yeah, man, we got to. But everything is well, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm gonna save mine for last. Butter, what's up, baby? Good to see you. I'm happy you here with us, man. Check in. How you be? How you living? How you feeling?
Man, I'm grateful for the invite. I feel good. And whenever I get to like hang out with y'all, I'm actually really excited. Just came off 2 heavy weeks of like doing work centered around social and emotional learning with some adults and with some high school students. I'm going to be with some seniors tomorrow and Thursday. Just really like doing some unpacking before they get out of high school, but looking at everything from grief to like those things that get in their way. It's been fun to be the adult that I needed. So that's always, that gives me a different kind of like access point. I got tricked to being on a PTA. So that's pretty interesting. My goddaughter's English teacher called me like, hey, we would like for you and her mom to be on the PTA. I'm like, she has a healthy whole father, an amazing father. Mom and dad married, ain't no problems in the house. Like, they good. How did I get the phone call? I get invited to a meeting, and the principal's like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're there. Like, you're at the school, and you all just want to introduce you to our PTA president. I was like, wait, whoa.
They just signed you up to be the president.
And so we had to disseminate Title I funds right after that meeting. So, yeah. I am full on president now. I just had my second meeting, ran the second meeting, like I knew what I was talking about. It's been big trust. And then just me overall, just healthy. If y'all know anything about diabetes and things like that, I got my A1C down from a 12 to a 7.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so doing more intentionality around being healthy. I want to be on the planet. So, and I didn't realize like how being overweight and things like that, not appearing overweight, but, giving permission to be a big guy.
Hmm.
Like, you don't need to lose no weight. I'm like, yeah, you saying that, but you skinny. The only thing I could fit in Zara were the accessories. So I was trying to figure myself out around that. And it was impacting my mental health. I had like very low self-esteem, wasn't happy. Now I'm damn near petite.
I hear that.
Crazy the way my self-esteem is. Like, what's up, butter? What's good? My voice ain't never been that deep. Like crazy. It's good shit.
Nah, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear all that. Speaking
How are
of
you?
I'm good, man. Speaking of getting in shape and whatnot, what's crazy, P, is I've been running. Bell got us running in this challenge or whatever, and that's been terrible. So that challenge ended. So what I'm using as my motivation is praying that you get nominated on Friday, and it's
For the
like
suit.
I'm going to lock in so crazy, P. Like last year, I felt good. You think I'm playing? Like you gonna
No, you did
see
it last time.
you gonna see how well I worked out by the way this suit fit me in February.
There we go.
I'm
Whatever it
I'm
takes,
Good.
not
man.
I'm not even playing, bro. Like I'm about to go. Like I'm just that's all the motivation I need to just be consistent.
Right.
Um, but the kids are doing great. We went to my mom's tonight. My mom's made some dinner and whatnot. It's so crazy because she's such a nigga. Like she's so funny. Like she's so project and stuck in her ways that it just doesn't make like it's so crazy. Like
Amazing that way though. She's
I
amazing.
hear her the way I hear her barking at my daughter just was resembling of how she barked at me. But I'm like, Ma, like it ain't the same. Like something happened today. My daughter took some candy out the freezer and went into her room with it, like a bag of like Halloween chocolates. And the boys were at finished their plate, and I guess my mom wanted to give them some candy, and she's like, "Mia, you took the candy," and she's like, "You want it back?" My mother's like, "See, that's your problem." Like just spaz on her because she said you want it back. But Mia might have said it with a little twang in her voice or whatever, but she let her have it. I'm like, "Ma, that was 10 minutes ago. Like, chill out." Like that is, he just kept riding that wave. I'm like, man, it's just so crazy, man. But
She's gonna mommy.
nah, worry. But I let her live, and she doing her thing. But yeah, everybody's good. She about to get this rotator cuff surgery next week. She had fell at work and twisted some shit up, so she gonna do that. My brother flying in, take care of her for a couple weeks. That'll be cool. Get
It's
to hang out
beautiful.
with them. My big mama just turned 88. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Oh,
Out in
word. That's what's
Atlanta.
up.
Still, still got it all up top. Like she's real, still quick with it, moving a little slower, but like, you know what I'm saying? She still got it. And I think it's a blessing to just be able, 88 years old. She living and, calling us every day on her iPad. And so that's also cool. Outside of that, bro, I'm good, man. Everything is there's really nothing to complain about, man. All is going well. I'm really I'm not gonna front like I'm really really excited for you, bro. Like I just feel like I've listened to all the albums and obviously totally biased. You know what I'm saying? But you put in work, bro, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to just to be a part of it and to watch it all come into fruition. So I'm excited to like pull up that clip on Friday and just let them call your name. That's gonna be dope, bro.
Thank
And
you, man. For
thank y'all
sure.
for being an inspiration. I'm actually working on a project.
That's what's
Oh, are
up.
you for real?
That's what's up.
Very
Well,
soon.
he been hounding me, P, for like a while to get us on this call. So we ain't gonna talk about that right now. But and P said he would, but we haven't had a chance to get together. Nevertheless, yo, we're gonna jump right into it. Not right into it, but a side note from today's conversation. I don't know how long this is gonna go, and I'm not trying to beat this daddy issues thing up, P. But I saw this clip on Instagram today, and you know how we get in them P. You the same way. I don't know if you are, but them happy tears. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Every
Yes.
Like
day.
like,
Every
Yes.
like
day.
almost search for something like on Instagram
Yeah,
that's like
every
brings you
day.
happy tears or whatever. So
Yup.
this is it's a blend. So it's kind of like heartbreaking happy tears, if you will. But I'm gonna play the clip, and I'd love for us to have a conversation about it. And then we can change into the topic of today's episode.
All right,
All
cool.
right. So check this out. Let me know what y'all think.
A lot. This might be a little tear jerk. I'm gonna try not to cry, but y'all know how I get, man. Just certain situations just really move a nigga. But anyway, me and my father, we hated each other growing up. Well, he probably ain't hate me, but I hated him for sure. Cause my pops was a project baby turned combat specialist in the United States Army. So he been hard about it my whole life. He soft as hell now. Now he got grandkids. Yeah, nigga's a real pushover. I had one of them daddies that he ain't tell us he loved us. He ain't give us hugs. He ain't show no affection, nothing like that. Only people I ever seen my daddy show affection to was my mama, my little sister, and my kids, the grandbabies. That's about it. But So, I went through that phase in life where I was like, damn, I wish my daddy would say this to me or say that to me. And he never do. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, if we on the phone, I'll be like, all right, dad, I love you. He'd be like, all right, son. He hang up. Like, but that's just him, though. Like, but y'all know I've been on my weight loss journey, right? And my dad used to be a meathead. You know what I'm saying? He used to be buff as hell. Work out 2 times a day, ass nigga. Before injuries, father time, undefeated. But, it ain't, too many times, you know, where my daddy got something good to say, because he just normally don't. Like, even if it's something good, like, you could be like, oh, daddy, I got all A's. He gonna be like, well, why you got a 91 right here? Why it's not a 95? He just that type of dude. Like, he don't mean no harm. That's just who he is. He just naturally, a negative Nancy. But my daddy don't do social media. Like, he got a Facebook. He probably got 17 friends, no exaggeration. He had Facebook about 15 years. But yeah, I went over there to pick my kids up, and I was walking out the door, and he stopped me. And he was like, son, he's like, keep up the good work, boy. I'm proud of you. And it's like, no matter what kind of life, what kind of past a man and his father got, whether it's good, bad, or anywhere in between, it just hit different when you hear it from somebody that you look up to and you idolize, and you never really been able to please them. Like, they just always found some kind of wrong in everything you did. So just to hear I'm proud of you, son. That shit made me feel like a kid again, bro. That shit make a nigga feel good, man. I'm 31, and I'm in this bitch shook up because my daddy said he was proud of me, dog. I fuck with y'all, man.
So talk to me, fellas. I saw that joint and my eyes was heavy, and I'm like, man, this is, what I mean? But it's cool for that brother to get that type of gratification at 31 years old and just, really let it hit home and not be afraid to express that it really made him feel good, and that's something he's been yearning for. You know what I'm saying? But what are y'all thoughts about that?
I loved it. I think that's I'm glad that he had time, the father, to recalibrate around fathering. I think that he needed some time to get it, and being able to pour into his son and his grandchildren. I think that made the difference, and I love that this brother was so beautifully vulnerable and shared it. It was powerful. I was fighting tears because I was like, "Yo, that's crazy." Like, I've never had that kind of relationship with my pops at all. Right? His funeral, he died last year, so I'm who his father is in other people's lives, and it's like it's just really dope. I love it, man. I love when men get like, wait, my son needs you know guns, GI Joes, all of that. Oh wait, they also need I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when fathers figure that part out, and then here's the thing about fathering, and I'll be quiet.
You ain't got
One
to
thing
be
I've
quiet,
learned,
bro.
one thing I've learned about fathering, different than mothering, we give little girls dolls before they have words, and they're taught to nurture. Young men learn about fathering when the baby gets here, and that whole time, as little boys, where were you all sent to play with your toy? But when you were sent to play, where did they tell you to go play?
In your room?
Oh.
Outside.
Oh,
They sent us outside. And so, because of that, women are often, as little girls, sent to their room to play with their toys. But when we get older, what do women usually want us to do?
what?
Stay home.
Correct. Come inside. Be in the house.
But we were taught to provide. What we forget sometimes is that love has very different languages. I think with a lot of our fathers who have fathers in the home, you're like, you don't love me. You're like, look at this house. Did you eat today? Because that love language is tied to provision. Like when I talk to men who've done that, their pride comes from seeing you say, oh, I'm so full. Right? For them, they hear love that way. Like they need to hear it in that way. And then we only teach them to love us a certain way. But I'm glad that this brother respects his father, loves his father, that his father's words can still penetrate. That's powerful.
I'm gonna tap back into that page and see if I can find that brother. See if you want to come up here and just have a conversation about that shit because that was powerful. Pete, what it do for you, man? I asked. I feel like this is gonna get real. Like I don't know where it's gonna go right now because I know the relationship you have with your dad have all of the above. So I'm just curious to know how it like where that's at with you.
It took me back to that day you was with me, but it took me back to the day at the golf course when we
Hmm.
was recording live. It took me it took me right there. To the day, what was that, last year? Last August of last year. I mean, we had that live recording.
Hmm.
Um and as a result of that one episode, I was compelled to call my dad and tell him I forgive him. And before I could tell him, he picked up the phone and he apologized to me for everything he had ever done. And I broke down crying. And you remember, I walked back in there. I was a mess for the show, the performance after. I was crying. I was a mess um, because my dad apologizing to me was permission for me to give the kid in me the hug he always needed. It was the confirmation from adult Prentice to give little PJ a hug and be like, I got you. And it all came as a result of my dad apologizing and telling me he was so proud of me. And I think that the fathers, our generation of fathers, like you were saying, but like a lot of them, I'm assuming, do have that thing where their pride comes from provision, but they totally miss the idea that those words of endearment, man, how much they can repair so much that has already been done for us as adults. So listening to that, it took me right back because I knew exactly how he felt. I feel
Hmm.
like I feel like this campaign, I feel like me creating this album was in a weird way as a result of my father apologizing and me giving myself permission to heal like completely, wholeheartedly, to not feel self-conscious about any aspect of my life that I want to speak on. So I think it did that for him. And I'm glad his father did that because I think it's going to teach him something about being a father to his children. And hopefully other fathers understand that it's never too late to say how you feel.
Yeah.
So I respect it anytime because I can relate exactly. Not I can relate.
P, is closure an appropriate word to put on that conversation or the way you feel? Like it,
Um, no, it's permission, man. It ain't closure. It's permission. It's the key to unlock the next step, the next door. That's how I look at it. Like it him apologizing, literally, I felt myself give the inner child in me a hug. And now every day I hold hands with the inner child in me. Every day ever since that day. It's gonna sound crazy, but every day
it
I
don't sound
walk with
crazy at all.
Yeah, that
the
don't
inner
sound
me.
crazy.
Well, it sounds crazy to me because I know what I'm talking about, but I've never thought of this concept outside of my experience. That's why I say it sounds crazy. Like I've never, maybe I've had conversations about this, but it didn't resonate until I went through it. So it was permission for me to learn how to go back. And ever since that day, I've gone back and I've made sense out of who I was as a child leading up to this day. And now I understand myself so much more. So not closure, but permission, like the key to the next door. And now I get to walk through it with understanding.
I have a follow up
Wow.
question, if I may. How have you, listening to you language your children, especially now and hearing that, had that moment impacted you in such a way where you now father differently? Do you experience yourself as fathering differently?
No, no. I've always told my kids I love them. I always tell them I'm proud of them to the point where they seem desensitized. They're young teens, you know, so they're, yeah, dad, thanks. You know,
Yeah.
it's and that's fine. That's fine, right? Because I understand that later on there's going to be appreciation there, right? And I see how my love that I pour into them, especially for Tahir, my 14-year-old, I see me most as a father through how he treats my 4-year-old daughter, his little sister. The
Wow.
way he brothers his little sister is, I know I'm doing a good job. He talks to her like I talk to her. He pours into her like I pour into him and pour into her. He's a mirror image of my fathering to my 4-year-old. And it's amazing to see because it's all the confirmation I need. You know what I mean? Like it's all the confirmation I need. He's getting that from me. There's nowhere else he's getting it from.
I
Um,
I, I remember that day, being like coming to the show,
mhm,
and I don't know if you were aware of how many people's daddy stuff was being healed in the moment that you had that experience.
I don't
Like
think I did. I was so
that was
wrapped up in the
all
moment.
of the evening. Like I wonder if we could go back and poll some of those folks. People were talking about it.
We have it on video. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh
We
my
we got
god!
that documented.
So people were
I'm gonna do
talking. People
something
were
with it.
talking. I mean, other artists, people like in passing were like, "Yo." You know, like those of us who may have had fathers who weren't on the planet or stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like it was such a, we were able to appreciate it with you and for you, but there was something about the little child, I think, in a lot of us that it just kind of like that child in us, like, I want a hug. Like
Yeah,
it was standing up in it, like it was powerful.
yeah,
Powerful.
yeah, man. It was a blessing for it was a blessing indeed, man. But yeah, yeah, Chief, no closure, but permission, bro. Just to accept everything. Like I accept every aspect of life now.
That's dope.
No, that's really really dope. And so now I saw that, and obviously, given my situation with my pop, there hasn't been any of those type of conversations. So I sat there going, I'm so happy for this brother, and it made me feel good. And then I wondered if I would feel the same if I heard the words from him.
Hmm.
And I don't know,
Hmm.
because this brother grew up with his dad and can tell you how negative he was, and all. I don't have a good reference of who the man is.
Hmm.
So I'm working on my album also, P. And the first piece I wrote was a forgiveness poem. And in the poem, I just briefly talk about how I forgave him, and a lot of it came with me just recognizing that, or accepting the fact that I don't know how he was raised. I don't know what his dad was like for him. I don't know, was his dad the dad who was the negative Nancy? You got a 95, you got 91 instead of 95. Like, was his dad feeding him that and he didn't know how to pour that into? Like, what I'm saying? Is he a product of his environment?
Hmm.
So a big part of my forgiveness for him just came with going, you don't know what he'd been through, and you can't make up a story for him. Of course, I know my experience with him, but I don't know what he's been through and how it shaped his perspective. So I
Hmm.
had to be able to forgive him for that and allow myself the space to finally, I guess, exhale and get some of this grudge and hurt and subconscious like disdain out of my body, because for the longest time I lived with the out of sight, out of mind,
Hmm.
until we started talking about it, the three of us, the podcast, and like then it just opened up some wounds. And again, we hear the stereotypical talks about therapy and digging all the way back into our childhood and so on and so forth, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then as we continue to have these conversations, I'm like, damn, this is a lot deeper than this present moment. This stems
Hmm.
from. So the more we talk about this stuff and the more it comes to the forefront, it's like, yo, you've been holding on to this hurt for a very long time. You've compartmentalized it so deep that you didn't feel it for 35 years until
I will offer you did.
we started diving.
You were feeling it. You just weren't speaking to it. How do I know that? Your children. Look at how you father.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I'm
You made
I'm
a you made a commitment to not ever feel that hurt again. So the hurt had to be present. The
right.
question I have for you, would you be open to hearing, I'm proud of you, forgive me from your father?
Of course, I would be open to hearing it. I'm just not sure if I would feel the same way.
Hmm.
You dig what
Mm,
I'm saying?
yep.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's something I'm yearning for.
Hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? Like I think I don't know if it's an apology or just an acceptance, like accountability. Maybe
Hmm.
that's more so what I'm looking to hear. Some accountability. Like, yeah, this is how I grew up, and this is how it impacted me, and which is why it played a role in my impact in your life. I'm not sure, but I know I'm in a space now where I don't necessarily have that resentment that I once had. I'm
Hmm.
at peace with that. I'm still not able to, I guess, walk into that conversation being the
Hmm.
initiator. So, for example, my uncle, my brother, my father's brother, and I talk every day, literally every single day. We talk, and he was having he was having a little rough patch. His wife and his daughter took a trip with her mom to like Jamaica or something, went away for like 2 weeks or whatever. And he was doing a lot of housework and had some things. I'm, yo, I'll come see you. I'm gonna help you out, spend some time with you. We could process some of the stuff you're going through. And he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And he's like, your dad is here. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna make that trip.
Hmm.
But it wasn't that same rage. It was just kind of like, I don't,
It's
I don't.
avoidance.
It's avoidance. Maybe it is avoidance.
No,
Not
it
maybe.
is.
All the
It's
thing
not a
avoid.
maybe, bro. You
Yeah,
said
that's
he was there,
avoid.
and you said I'm cool. Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
call it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's okay. That's
What am I?
fine.
What am I avoiding, though, fellas?
Who know? Like you only. To be honest, only you would know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and maybe you don't.
I'm
You know
trying
what
to.
I'm
Well,
saying?
I mean, think maybe if you threw out some ideas, I can connect to it. But I'm like, I don't. I mean,
You know what I think? I think there's I don't want to say fear, but there's the conscious possibility of disappointment in the interaction. I think that
I think
I
to
think
Prentice.
that you may yeah, I think that there's something that may happen in that interaction that may lead to your disappointment. You may hear I'm sorry and it may do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, damn, that didn't do anything. But I was thinking about this in the grocery store. Sometimes the circumstances are, I was thinking about how the last time I seen mom when she pulled up to Tahir's eighth grade graduation at the end of the year last year, and she tried to tell me off in front of everybody. And she said, the last thing my mom said to me was like, I hope your kids never treat you like you treated your parents. And I was like, in my head, what? Like the nigga who left you and left you to raise a kid, you hope? Wait, I'm treating y'all fucked up? And I thought about it. Sometimes we're the product of two people who had no business fucking with each other. What do you expect if that is the case, right? Like my mom and my dad still fuck with each other now, and I found that out, and I'm like, that is crazy. But then I think about it like, how much can I expect from two people who probably, and this goes back to what you were saying about their history and knowing where they come from or not knowing. I know their history. They have no business ever fucking with each other. And I am a product of that. So now, as an adult, now who I'm looking at are two people who never had no business fucking with each other, who had a baby with each other. Do I really expect these two individuals to be able to nurture, care for in the way necessary for life? Not like my mom didn't for a long time, but for life for me. I don't think that's realistic because they never had no business fucking with each other in the first place.
so is it fair? It was a quote online I saw one day, or something around to the extent of we never noticed that growing up that our parents were growing up with us, or you know what I mean, like they weren't necessarily taught how to parent, so as they're growing and evolving, they're learning as well. You dig what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Yeah,
like,
which is probably why my dad got it right with my sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like some time evolved, and their
Can you
mama
guys hear me?
was.
Hello.
we can hear you, Ray. Shout out to my man LCSW LMNOP Ray Wilson joining the party. You know what I'm saying? I asked Ray to join us earlier, but he was a little tied up, but he tapped in with us
Gentlemen,
a little later than not. But yeah, good. Can you hear and see us, butter? I mean, Ray.
Yes, yes, I
All right,
can. How
but
you guys doing?
catch up and join in on the conversation. I played a link, but you'll you'll figure it out. P, go
Yeah,
ahead.
my sisters. I got three sisters by my father, one by my mother, the older sister by my mother. But my three sisters, my dad raised and continues to raise. But their mom was a drug addict. My mom had her my mom had a goal and a plan and ambition, went back to school, she was driven. So perhaps my father didn't feel the need to have to man up for me the same way he did for my sisters because their mama was definitely not capable. She was strung out. I found my sisters on a park bench in Oakland and my mom had to put them in a car because their mom was nodding off dope. So perhaps, with your father, he got it together with your sibling or your sister at least, for different reasons. Perhaps, like who knows? But and my point just is you're never gonna know until you know. So when you finally don't avoid, you'll know something more than you know now. You will, but you'll know that the apology ain't the answer and move on from that. You'll know that if you have a conversation with him and learn about his life, you're going to gain some understanding. It doesn't mean you're going to accept it, but you're not going to know until you know.
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy is P. I firmly believe, like I met him in May of 2011, and I'm pretty certain. First of all, memory's awful as it is, but I'm pretty certain I got his life story. But in the context of that conversation, I told y'all before, he said something. He said the words like, "I wasn't around because I told your mother not to have you," and that's the only thing I remember
Mhm.
after that. Like literally, I'm pretty sure we had an in-depth conversation, but that is the only thing that stuck out in my mind. And after that, we talked for like an hour after that comment was made, and I just remember like burning on the inside. And then when he left, I greeted him goodbye or said my goodbyes, and that was that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
So
I think also to Prentice point, sometimes it sucks to meet your heroes. It sucks. And I think sometimes that fear of meeting this person and it'd be like, oh wow, you are an asshole. As opposed to you want this like, this loving experience. And where you avoid often where we avoid is where the work is. It's that thing that but nobody can tell you to do your work. That's the other thing.
so
Like you would have to do your own work and you can look at where your father we're never not in relationship with our parents, whether they're in our lives physically or not.
Very
Right?
true.
You think about how you've been with women based upon who your father has been. Maybe your father taught you that distance worked. And so if the woman was up on you too much, you were like, yeah. So you pushed her away. Or
I'm
vice
gonna
versa, whatever that looked like.
I'm gonna dig into that, but I don't know. That would take some real soul searching. So Ray, before you popped on, what I was saying was, um, my father's brother, my uncle, I speak to every day, literally every single day. And it was a
Mhm.
point maybe a couple months ago where he had some free time for like 2 weeks. His wife and his kid had went away, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll come see you, help you with the yard work, whatever." And he was like, "Oh, by the way, your dad is here." And then I was like, I never responded in that, but I was like, "Yeah, I'm probably not gonna go." And the fellas are like, "Yo, that's avoidance." And I'm like, "Yeah, probably so." Like, no, it is. And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out like if you can pinpoint like what exactly am I avoiding? Am I avoiding another? Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm avoiding another disappointment, letdown, because I was hoping that conversation would turn into a way where it would help me understand. But instead, I wasn't around because I told your mother not to have you. So, nigga, in my head, I heard, nigga, I didn't ever want you to begin with. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
what I heard. I'm
Right.
sure that's not what he meant.
It might be. It might
Here's the
be
Maybe.
thing.
though, bud. It
Okay.
really might be,
Look,
bud. And that's just
Lee,
dealing with the idea that he may not be shit for real. Like if he was able to tell you, yo, I wasn't around because I told you my that's pretty telling to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
but
maybe rather than being angry about the statement, learning how to process that reality.
I mean,
I don't
then
know.
in that moment I couldn't. Now I'm a lot better with it. But go ahead, Ray. You
no, I'm just going again, I'm not privy to all the details of what you guys been through, the feelings, the years, the trauma that's been going all behind it. The only thing I can say is I don't do drive-by diagnoses. However, whenever I talk to individuals, I always try to preach, keep the door open. Keep the door open. Because guess what? You never walked in that man's shoes. You don't know what that man was going through at that moment in time. Again, I'm not here. I'm not here to justify him. I don't know him. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong in your feelings, you're right in your feelings. I don't know. But I'm just always saying, let's keep the door open. Trust me, life is too short. As especially right now on Friday, I turned 55. And when you start getting into this age, you start getting very nostalgic. You start looking back, you start doing reflective because you start realizing I have less wake ups than I did in the past. So I don't want to turn this into me, but I'm just telling you, when you get to a
This is
certain
about you
age,
too, brother.
when you get to a certain age, you're thinking you're believe it or not, you're not going to be the same person 5 years from now.
Right.
And I
Of
don't
course.
want I don't want these doors to be closed that you realize, you know what, I could have opened the door, I could have suggested something, I could have asked something, I could have said, hey, let's go out for a drink, let's sit down and talk. Because guess what? I don't know the traumas behind each individual. But again, it's it's going to happen. What needs to happen is you guys need to sit down. Sit down.
I just heard something really clear that Ray just said, and I heard it from you also, Chief. And I think Prince was actually about to hit on it. It sounds like you want something from your father that, based upon what Ray said, he may not be able to give you because he may not have access. Because we don't know what he's been through. You're waiting for your father to reach for you in a particular way, but most children do. But now, because you have a different kind of insight, it may take you like doing that. But what I heard Ray say really clear is that we're entering the chapter of his life now. We don't know the chapters before. And if you're waiting for your father to access a relationship my father told me that my mother had me to keep him. So I understand the conversation like real clear. And my mom told me that I was her mistake. So when the therapist said to me, "Oh, your parents didn't want you. What else?" I was like, wait, we done? She's like, "Oh yeah, they were very clear. They didn't want you." When I would tell people that, they would be like, "No, you need to love your parents." I'm like, I don't love. It's not that I don't love them. I'm trying to understand them. But when that woman said that, I got healed in a way I can't even tell you. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, it's on me. Okay, then, cool.
Right.
What we got to
Right.
do? What's next?"
Sometimes we gotta deal with the reality. And I was gonna say to Ray, I got a question for Ray, just a kind of general without you knowing anything. You referenced keeping the door open. What do you say to somebody who has absolutely recognized that life is healthier with the door closed? That with the door closed, with the door open, you know at a certain point what's going to come through that door. You know what energy you're going to get by keeping it cracked. You know what's going to come through the bottom of the door, and you still ain't even tucking a towel under. You'll let that come in. What do you say to people who know what they're getting through that door open, and for them, it has proven to be healthier to close the door and accept that the door is closed?
Again, I'm working with limited knowledge here, but
Right, right.
however, if you're stating that, if you're telling all us men here that, you know what, I'm raising a family, and every time I let this individual in, um, chaos. Guess what? You have to do what's best for you and your family at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm not telling you if you know this individual is divisive, and drugs, alcohol, what have you, abusive. Listen, you have to protect you and your family. I'm always about protecting you first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you're in a safe place, then you can start addressing some of those things if you want to. I don't want
Got
it
it.
ever to be a time where it's too late. It's too
Mm-hmm.
late. And now you're reflecting back as you get older. Like I told you before, as you get older, your mindset changes. Everything
Yeah.
you think is important right now is not. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. I hate to tell you that when you get there, it's all everything you work for, but it's not. And all of a sudden, you start reflecting on relationships.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
I hear you.
so, Butter, you made a great point, and I've just now accepted that as my truth. I'm waiting for my father to reach out for me. And I don't think that that's going to happen.
And how does that
And I
make you?
and I'm okay with that. I just don't know if I'm brave enough, or I don't know, brave's not the word. I don't know if I want to invite him into that door. The door will be
Yeah,
there. If he knocks, I will gladly open it.
yeah,
But I don't know if I want to invite him in.
okay. And I can respect that. I will offer, like, when you can sit with that, where you don't have to answer the question, where you don't have to look at anything, where you're not. And when I say don't judge yourself, I'm saying don't go look for evidence about him being wrong or you being right and him being right, but really
Absolutely.
be in the question of what has me in this place. Because here's what you should know for sure, for sure. You were somebody's choice.
Mhm.
There were 10 women in the room, 8 knew how to have an abortion. Your mom got real clear that my son gets to come forward,
Mhm.
right? Even in who your father was, there's nobody that has met you that go, oh, your parents must have sucked. I often offer this as an idea. What if your father and your mother's only job was to make you?
Huh?
Based upon relationships,
Yeah.
they did a damn good job. We tend to think that parents are supposed to raise us.
Yep.
So then I offer, then explain that to a child who's lost a parent.
Mhm.
You can't. It makes no sense. It loses its power. Once I got that, I was able to give my parents back their humanity. Now, did I feel like I lost stuff? Absolutely. Especially, you know how people call on me, especially my teenagers, because I end up becoming the adult that I needed. But it took those two people to like break some things and pull some things and move some stuff around for me to stand up before people go, hey, my name is Leslie Butterfly Soul Taylor.
Mhm.
Right? Like I couldn't get to that had I had different kinds of parents. I never got the mama I wanted or the daddy I wanted, but I did get the parents I needed. You ain't gonna tell me no, and I don't break easy. And if I'm having a bad day, it's my bad day, but I know it's a direct result of my parents. You may say a lot
Mhm.
of things about your pops, but based upon who your father is, they say if you want to know anything about the parents, look at the children. So on some level, he was solid. On some level,
And
he
that's
was a critical thinker.
and that's what
Like
my
you
sister
have all
says.
of the qualities. Yeah, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like
But even my
you're
mom says
not,
it. She's like, he was a really good guy.
but
Like she's like, he was.
you're never not your father's child.
Yeah. In grad
There'll
school, we
never come a
always.
time. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, brother. No, in
No,
grad
no, go
school,
ahead.
we always spoke about good enough. All we need is the good enough parent. That's all we need. We need the good enough parent. You don't need a perfect parent. We all know, as men, we all know that doesn't exist. You just need a good enough parent to give you the tools you need to move on. And from looking at Prez, from looking at Chief, it seems like you guys got the tools. Somehow
Yeah.
or another, the tools got passed on. You know, as you're talking, as as you're talking, I hate to refer to movies, but did anyone happen to see the Antoine Fisher story? Did anyone happen to
Absolutely.
see that?
Of course.
And as you're talking, I'm just reflecting on Antoine knowing his mother is garbage. He knows it. He knows, but you know what? He wanted to let her know. Number one, thank you for having me.
Hmm.
Number one, these were the dreams and aspirations I had for us. And he just wanted her to know it. But because you're talking about what would you say to your father? I'm like, just be real. Just tell him what comes to your heart. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this time I keep reflecting on it. This time is not forever. This time is not forever. I'm trying to tell you, take advantage of the time you have.
Yeah, I think to Ray's point, it's an opportunity to say as opposed to being silenced. Like death will silence you. Like in a way that people ignoring you can't. Because even the people that ignoring you can still hear your voice. Whether they want to acknowledge it is a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Death makes it final, right? I will also offer when it comes to our parents, a lot of times we have these expectations of them, but we never consider how blessed we are to have that unhealthy parent not be around. We never consider. My father was physically abusive. I was abused as a kid. I only went to live with him because I told my mama she didn't know how to raise a man. I need to live with my father. So what he did was beat the hope out my future.
Hmm.
I had to go refine it.
So let
And
me
then
ask
it
you this,
revisited
brother.
me as an old man.
Mm-hmm.
You've unfortunately lost both of your parents. As Ray's talking about, time being finite and whatnot. In those, if you can reflect back on those moments, were there? I wish I had. I don't want to call them regrets. Were there circumstances where you wish you had?
I love the wish I had. So my mom had dementia for 2 years. I was the person that was responsible for putting her in the hospital. I went through a mind numbing depression. I was in depression for about a good 6 or 7 years. Nobody really knew because I was very high functioning. But when I put my mom in the hospital and she died, I blamed myself for her death for a long time. Now, what happened because of those 2 years, I was able to say, Mama, thank you for using the tools that you had. Thank you for doing your best. And we love you. And I would kiss her. My mom did not remember me. She'd go, hey, handsome. And I would walk out the room. She'd go, where's Leslie? And then I walk back in, hey, mom, I'm here. And she'll go, oh, hey, sugar. I got the mama that I wanted the 2 years she had dementia. I changed diapers, kissed her face, loved on her real hard, sang her songs. We had our time. It's the longest goodbye I think I've ever had. And grieving someone with dementia doesn't happen when they die because you have to in real time. You're real time grieving, not even present to it because she's a different woman. With my father, um, after him being deeply religious and me being unapologetically myself, I was like, okay, I got it. What I would later learn that his wife was a lot of our interruption, and we couldn't get to each other because she was in the middle of it, and that's fine. But I also feel like my father could have reached for me. Only one problem: I wasn't a space to be reached for.
Hmm.
Like I wanted to put it on him, but I also have to be accountable. I was a no. When I walked into my father's funeral and they read that man's obituary, and when they got to the part that he leaves 4 sons in the room audibly, imagine in a church audibly people going, "Jack had 4 sons." Because when I walked in the room, when I walked in the funeral home, they were like, I was like, I'm actually not the one. Wait till y'all see my brother. When Dwayne walked in, they were like, oh my God, we don't have the same mother, but Dwayne and I look just alike. So when I have that moment, when I think about my dad, I'm grateful to him because in his death, I got what I've always wanted from him, a family. And my cousins to this day, right now, send me "I love you" text messages.
Hmm.
I'm grateful for my daddy because what he
Wow.
couldn't say to me in life, he gave me in death. People, come on now, the work that I do, people are like, oh my God, your parents. I don't go, they were assholes. I go, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Man,
Like, why
that
would I
that
beat
is.
their. Go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's just so powerful about you saying you were unreachable, because that makes me want to ask you, Chief. Your uncle said your dad was there. If you were going to pull up and help him with yard work, you said, I'm probably not going to go. Would your dad have stayed, knowing that you were on the way?
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying? Like
I think so.
that idea of being unreachable. Are you even in a position to receive what you're fearing you may not get if you're
No.
not even willing to show up? You get what I'm saying?
So here's the thing, Pete. Like I think so when Butter mentioned that, like he was unreachable, and had Dad made the effort, he was a hard no. I'm a, I'm a overt and open yes, absolutely. Come on in,
But I'm saying
but
though,
I'm
his
not. I'm not
presence,
sending out the RSVP.
right,
Is what
right.
my issue is.
What I mean is his presence at your uncle's home, knowing you're on the way, his way of being willing to face whatever comes with meeting his son face to face. You get what I'm saying? Like, you weren't willing to show up, but is it possible that your dad would have stayed and you're the one not willing to face whatever can come as a result of
No, that's
you
not
guys meeting?
possible. That's the reality of it. I
What do you
think
mean?
you say, is it possible that I'm the one not ready to face? Like, I think I'm avoiding a conversation like what happened the first time we spoke.
Okay. So then maybe the focus means how to make yourself reachable
But so
at the base of it,
so
you know?
when you say again, when you say reachable, in my head it translates as him reaching for me
No,
versus
I
being
mean
available and
you
open.
have to
I'm
be accessible,
100%
but
open.
then show
He
up.
has my number. He
No,
lives with
what
my
I'm
uncle who I
saying,
talk to every day. You
what
dig what
I'm
I'm
Can,
saying?
saying is
can I,
for
may
you.
I offer something? We're talking as men, forgetting that we're somebody's child. We can do all this man shit, but when you're with your father, you immediately become a little boy. I don't care who we are. There is
Mm-hmm.
something about this age, like Ray is 55 now. I'll be 55 in January. So that conversation of change is a real thing. What never changed was the little boy hoping that my father see me from the pulpit. The little boy that my mom loved me enough to say, baby, you can be somebody. Those things never happen. The little boy craved his parents, even as an adult, with a young girl walking around going, Paw Paw, I gotta be somebody's grandma. I gotta be somebody's grandfather now. So now I gotta go be Paw Paw in my hurt and my pain. But her
And
grandma, stuff like that, it looked a certain way. I hear where you're coming from, Princess, but I
right.
think also with you, Chief, it's that opportunity to also look at something about that conversation is triggering in
Hmm.
that why do I always have to do the work?
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think that I'm
I
definitely
get
sitting
that
in that
very
space.
clear.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
also
That's
P
very fair too.
and P. One of the things is you got to understand some people necessarily would like to be in your shoes. I know right now you're like, there ain't nobody in the world want to be in my shoes. I don't even have a vivid picture of my father in my head. My father passed away when I was a kid. I never lived with him. Mm, I don't I luckily for me I have a stepbrother who's much older than me to where he and his wife would talk about my father and I just sit back and just listen and be like and they look at me like you didn't know that you didn't know I was like no I have no I have no memories with him. There was no ball game. There was no pitching the ball. There's no, hey son, do that. Hey son, tie your shoe. There, I have none of that. None of that. Is a blank slate. So when you talk about your father and the troubles and the trials you're having, I from a person from the outside, I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of jealous. I want some of that because I have
That's real.
nothing. You know what I'm saying? I have absolutely nothing.
And
And so,
that's how this whole thing started, Ray. Like I remember feeling that exact same way when we were having a conversation about quote unquote daddy issues, and Prentice and Bell are talking about their relationship and they're growing up with their dads and so on and so forth. And I sat there for like 40 minutes and couldn't contribute to the conversation because I had no memories. There was no stories, there was no ball throwing, there was no advice, there was none of that. The only conversation I had was at 31 years old when I met him, and he told me he wasn't around because he told my mother had me. It's the only thing I had. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, I do understand the perspective of I wish I had the opportunity to at least hear his story. I do understand that. And
but you could create more,
right.
Yeah.
and that's not what you're not saying. I, again, you're talking to a person who's jealous right now. So allow me to delve in and say, I think you could create some more memories. It's still there. The potential is still there.
You can create your now with him. Like, what would your now look like with your father? And it doesn't have, I think we talk about romantic like comedies and stuff like that. We never talk about like those movies where the whole family is together around the table and they having family dinner. I wanted my mother to be Claire Huxtable. Edna kept picking up the phone. Like there was no, like
Yo,
if you could allow yourself to allow your father, give yourself permission to allow your father to be the version of him that he is, and let go of the version that you're making up, there may be some access, but as long as you keep this version of him that was not available to him, you're only going to sit with more disappointment of him. But if you give him space to be himself, it gives him permission just to be. And then you can create a new, and you don't even have to go back for that apology you hoping for. Because he told you his truth, hoping that you would get it. That's what he did. But where he messed up, he was trying to be a man with you. He was not trying to be your father in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
that's
Right.
fair.
And then you're not you six you tall, you all of this stuff, and he's seeing this grown man, and he's like, I need to talk to him like a man. Because in his mind, he's your father, so he has permission that he don't have. Because listen, I don't miss my father. I miss being fathered. It's a very different conversation. When I watch my friends, I'm like, Ray, when I see my peers being loved on and they talk about their fathers, even at this age, I'm just like, and then people send me Father's Day, Happy Father's Day, and I'm like, I'm not a father. And I don't know that I don't deserve this, but I can give you some numbers of some dope fathers I know. And I'm serious about it. You and Prince is like watching y'all figure this thing out in a way that y'all have, in spite of what you've been through and who you've been. Your children should be thanking y'all fathers because of who that man helped shape.
So I heard, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm hearing you guys, and I'm really like, as just the way my mental has evolved in having this podcast, and just how open I am to perspective. I'm really hearing you guys, and I'm leaning towards just considering opening the door, literally reaching out and making the effort myself. But I've always said this.
Before you say but,
No,
can we acknowledge though that last August this wasn't even available? Can we just acknowledge you for that?
yeah,
What happened
absolutely.
with I want to acknowledge that. I want to lift that up really high.
I
Because
think
I know the video almost made me cry, but that makes me want to cry.
I
'Cause I want you
I
to be
guess
quiet and
I guess
receive it.
somebody. What happened in August?
Prentice had an experience with his father last year,
Mhm.
and me being, the little big brother, I was like, Chief, like, this is your opportunity. No, no, talk. Like he was adamant about it. He not never doing it. To hear him
Mhm.
say, in this moment, I'm open, based upon what you're saying, Ray, about leave the door open and stuff like that. Chief, I don't want you to like blow over that to make a point or a topic. I'm saying we get to acknowledge that, man. That's new ground
yeah,
Growth. Yeah.
that you did not have access to before. That's big. That's not a little thing.
a lot of my reluctance in doing so was, as much as the little kid inside was yearning for that, the adult in me goes, what can he teach me now?
Mhm.
What can he do for me now? You dig what I'm saying? Like, and I have to accept the fact that I don't necessarily need anything from him. Maybe just the relationship fact is a factor, is enough. Like, I don't need him to provide anything from me or to instill confidence in me or teach me to ride a bike or any of those little things. But I think for the longest time, those things are what I missed and what I yearned for. And as an adult, it's like, well, there's nothing really he can do for me now. You dig what I'm saying? That's what I fed myself.
Yeah. I'm sure we all have at some point. Maybe
So
not in our father, mother, maybe it's a relationship. Relationships are like that. We'll try to think for the person we're in relationship
yeah,
as opposed to being with them. That's why I tell people don't date the story, date the person.
Mhm.
You're in your daddy's story. The moment you get in that relationship with that man and be with the man who became your father, he learned man like you did. And we all know on this call, man is made up. None of us have the same
Mm-hmm.
version of man. So he made up this version of man. And you're not wrong for the version you made up, and he's not right. But it is what it is.
mhm.
And so in it being is what it is, it don't have to stay that way. And I love that Ray said keep the door, because the door don't have to be run into my arms. The
Correct.
door can be, you know what? Thank you for giving me life.
Mhm.
If you didn't
Yo,
do anything, if you didn't do anything else, I get to have my children because of you. I get to have like this life. I get to be a Grammy nominated artist. I get to be these things because you gave me life. And then the conversation don't have to be what you're without. The conversation can be we can start right here. And then have that be that. I'm not going to call you every day, but I want to say to you that I see you right now. And you do it on your terms. You do it on your terms. That man said what he said. It was wrong, hurtful, insensitive. It was all of those things. But that was then, and this is now.
Hmm.
And so, my question to you is how do you want to live your now? Because you know, with regret, if you drop the R, you re get all the pain. So, I don't want you to keep going back. And then we keep making the same mistake. We keep putting expectations on people only to be left with all the disappointment that we put out there. Expect people to be themselves. Your father is your father. So let him be your father, his version. He's never going to not be your father. So accept this version if you're willing. And
Hmm.
I'm not saying that to be smug or dismissive. What I'm offering is give yourself some grace. You're trying to make him something, trying to figure out why you aren't those things.
I think like flashing back to the video we posted, like I don't know if I would feel that way, but I do know he, I think just hearing the right words would potentially make me feel like that, brother.
I don't
And I
want you,
think
there's no inherent meaning in words. Words are made there's no inherent meaning in words. You know what you know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know, and you don't even know you don't know it.
right.
It's you don't have it's not in your awareness, Bob. And the only this is my argument with God, and I can't wait to get to heaven to have this conversation. We don't have to go
Wow.
through the experience to get the wisdom. Can you just give us the wisdom? You
Yo,
got to go through the experience first in order to get the wisdom on the other side.
I was
Mhm.
literally about to say, do not search for the feeling, just search for the experience, bro.
Yeah.
You can't pick the feelings. Do not search. The biggest thing, don't search for the feelings. You can't pick. You can't pick. You can pick the experience though. You can put yourself in that room and I offer you this, but it's not about the grown man in you saying what can he teach you. This may be about the boy in you getting some information that he needs in order to catch up to the grown version of you. You know what I'm saying? You may be getting in the way of your younger version, your kid in you, getting some answers, some clarity, learning how to accept what is by you talking about what he cannot teach you now as an adult.
So when
Just
you
things to
say
consider.
that, the little boy in me in that conversation I had at 31, the little boy in me was sitting on the front porch waiting for his dad to come get him, and his dad drove by and was like,
That's what he might have felt for sure.
that's absolutely what he felt. And I think now
Yeah.
I know feeling that again is what I'm avoiding.
So maybe, can I just real quick? Maybe what happens this time when it happens is even if you get this feeling again that he's passing you by like that, maybe what happens is this time you sit on the porch with that little boy and you're like, you know what, bro? We're gonna have to figure out what we do moving forward because he's not coming back. Maybe you get to have that conversation, that closure stage there where the young you and the you now sit on the porch and you guys process together.
So what's really strange, fellas, is I know via all this conversation we had that it may not sound like this and it doesn't feel like this, but it's gonna sound off, but I really in my heart have done the inner work to genuinely and honestly say that I forgive him.
Great.
Yeah, we're
I
having two different
really,
conversations.
really feel, okay. I'm just, but I so like that angst of resentment is just not there anymore. Like I
It's
really
not
did.
about Steve. It's not about resentment. It's not about your forgiveness. It's about you not being finished. It's
The
undone.
relationship aspect.
Yeah. Say that again, Ray. I don't want to. I don't want to miss that. Say that again.
No, I'm just talking about the relationship aspect of it. Listen,
Yeah.
um, I'm just listening to you, and you just gave a whole monologue of interaction between you and your father, as if you were scripting it. I'm like, this is not something that could be scripted. We can't keep making up monsters. Every time we create monsters in our head, uh, as an example, P knows I run at 4 o'clock in the morning. If I have to run, I run at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I told somebody this. She's like, "Aren't you afraid of bears?" I said, "No. I need you. I need to do. Excuse me. What did I say? I stated to her, "No. I need motivation to do it, not something to take me away from doing it. You
Hmm.
know, you're creating monsters for me. I don't need that. I don't need that. You know, give me motivation to keep going. How about let's start with that." So, Pete, when I'm hearing you come up with this dialogue as a scripted interaction with your father, it's not going to go like that. You know, it's not going to go like that. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be something more organic. Hey, Dad, you want something to drink? Organic. Hey, you hungry? Hey, hey, you want to meet your grandkid? I got my grandkid in the car. It's going to be something more organic than what you just scripted. And let's start with that right there. Let's be organic about it.
Yeah.
I would have liked you to show up and just see what transpired from there. Again, we don't know. We don't know where he's at right now. We know where you're at. We don't know where he's at. And I understand you're shielding yourself from hurt, but it's again, like my brother said, he spoke to you like a man, thinking that you would accept it, not understanding that you were still in in a child, in necessarily in child mindset.
Yeah.
So I think what I just come to realize is I am in such an emotionally intelligent and aware space that regardless of what happens, I know I'm going to be okay. So what the fuck are you waiting for?
Nope. That's punitive. Take that last part off.
Yeah, so but my thing is like why are you avoiding something when you know you can handle whatever the repercussions are?
You don't know that. You're being too punitive, sir. You're let the child be the child. You're trying to man up the child. The child needs something that the man don't, and that's what I want you to get. You're doing that like toxic positivity thing.
Mhm.
You know, come on, you can do it. Lace up your boot. Listen, you about to go have a you about to talk to somebody that could say two words that could break you for the rest of your life.
Crush
Bam.
you.
Understand
Mhm.
what type of
Mhm.
I want you to understand what kind of space you're going into. This is not something, this is not like you going to a reel and this is you in real time, authentically present, not trying to shield yourself, fully express and expose, because that's what vulnerability is. And you're saying, Father, like, I'm here with you. Hey. And it could be like what Ray said, you want some water? Because what'll happen in that moment, all that stuff, we don't know where it's gonna go. Clear that you've forgiven him, clear that you are emotionally
Yeah.
intelligent in ways you've always been that. But you are also taking ground that you've never taken before.
Mhm.
And you have to give you some grace.
Mhm.
You cannot put you in a chokehold. This will be the wrong time to wrestle.
Mhm.
You want to give yourself some real grace to go, you know what? This is a new lesson for me. Because
Absolutely.
because even after it occurs, you still got to deal with the reverberation of the earthquake that you created for
Mhm.
yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to deal
And
like
I'm
all of that plays a part. Go ahead, Ray.
Mhm. Oh no, Leslie, I was going to say I'm more on a very simplistic mindset. Leslie says it. Be present, Me, P, you coach football many of years. What did you, when a kid says, "Hey, I want to play," what's the first thing you tell them? What's the first thing every coach in America tells a kid? Show up.
Yeah.
Just show up. Right now, you're not showing up. That's it. Everything else would take care of itself. Don't try to come up with these newfangled things. Just be present.
Yeah.
Show up. That's it. That's all Leslie's saying. Just show up.
It's fair. Again, it's easier said than done.
We
But
agree, all of us agree on this call that that could be the truth for you.
yeah, I do appreciate the conversation because my mind is just like, yo, like, just do it.
I got a challenge for you if you're willing.
Love
I got a
challenges.
challenge for you.
Say yeah. Say yeah. I'm willing.
Nah,
He's
Say
always down for
it.
the challenge. Where's Bellamy
talk
to
to
give out the challenges?
talk to me.
Here's a challenge, and you can and you can go back and discuss this with Ray afterwards. Ray, I just called you for it on duty. What
I know. I was like,
what I'm offering you, I want you to write a letter from your father in his voice, saying all the things that you need to hear right now.
It's funny because I wrote down on my notepad here, and it was the question of what would I say to my father.
So here's the thing: it's not what you would say; it's what you would like to hear from him. Is he apologizing? Is he saying "I love you"? And allow yourself to write that letter even before you talk to him. Because the great thing about that letter, it'll allow you to refresh on what you need from your father even now.
mhm,
It'll
absolutely.
give you permission. It'll give you permission to see it. So even if he doesn't say it, you would have fathered yourself enough to have said it to you. And then teach yourself to say those things to you when father can't. But when you write that letter, you write it from yourself. You know I'll be available to discuss it. But I think Ray has some access points for you that after you write that letter, that you get to process out in a real way. Because it open. I do that exercise with adults, with children.
Mhm,
I did it right before I went to my father's funeral with some high school students at Mount Sinai. Dude, when I walked in the funeral, I was complete.
mhm,
I cleared up anything that I had. He told me he loved me. He asked me to forgive him for the abuse. He said that he couldn't see God in me, even though he was a pastor. Like he said some amazing things to me that I didn't even know I needed to hear at 53. I'm good. I've been on my own since I was 18. Ain't asked for crumb or nickel. And I thought that
mhm.
was a badge of honor. I can't tell you a healthy romantic relationship I've ever been in.
Hmm.
Wow.
That was
Hmm.
I don't need nobody. I don't need
Mhm,
you. I got a lot of shoes and not a whole lot of memories.
mhm.
That's dope. Listen, fellas, I just want to say I absolutely truly appreciate y'all supporting this. Again, this wasn't necessarily about me, but it just because of the circumstances it goes towards me. But I often feel like I'm the one who's always the most vulnerable on the podcast. Always. I always feel like I am, P. I don't know why. I mean, you've been in the hot seat a couple times, but I definitely feel like I'm always the one just kind of like putting my heart on the stream, on the microphone, like y'all go ahead and do what y'all do with that. But this has been an extreme eye-opening experience for me, and I'm really going to process some of this stuff, and I'm going to have some news for you guys sooner than later. And that's my word.
Mhm.
I trust you. I trust that you're going to do what's best for you. And I'm glad that I will offer when you go see your father, be his son. Just be his son.
And
Give
that's
yourself
the
permission to be his son.
I think that's the hard part though, but
Hard is a choice, easy is too.
I
Huh.
don't I don't know
Bars.
how
Choose.
to be his son.
Good. Make it up. Make up your version of son so he can show up at his version of father. And the way you show up as a version of son at this age, you show up as the version of son that's coming to get to know a father that could not father him as a child. And you don't have to have shame around still wanting him on some level.
No doubt.
But give yourself permission, right? Because everything we are is a choice. Everything we do is a choice. Even choosing not to choose is a choice. Inside of every choice is a new choice. If you choose to ignore your father in this moment, what else are you choosing? Talk to me. Don't overthink it. Speak from your heart. What are you choosing?
If I'm choosing
To ignore your father, what else are you choosing?
my feelings,
If you choose to ignore your feelings, what else are you choosing? You're overthinking it. Speak from your heart. What else are you?
I don't know. I'm just saying I'm choosing not to not get it done. To not have the healing I need.
So choosing not to have the healing you need, what else are you choosing?
I'm not sure what you're looking for, but I mean,
That's it. You also, by doing that, you're also pretending to choose confusion. Because often confusion means I disagree. Here's what begins to happen. When you're making those choices, we're never choosing in our now. We're always choosing up the road. A no to your father's now, a no to your father now will be a yes at his coffin. Death is permanent. You won't have a chance with the door open if he's at a coffin with the door closed. If you choose now, then you get to call us forward. Hey, can y'all be in this city? This is where I'm meeting my father. Y'all go to the hotel, hang out. I'm gonna need to talk about this. There are a number of ways that you can rally your community, rally your village, and we can come and support you in a number of different ways because you're also gonna need that support,
no, for sure,
right?
without a
I
doubt.
clearly see that everybody on this call is a yes, and so is
P
Bill and everybody else.
P, I'm looking at you, and I don't know. You just rubbing your beard, and you making your face like what's going through your mind, bro?
This conversation was this is one of the best conversations we've had, in my opinion, man. It's given me so much to consider. It's made me recognize. It sounds like a final thought. It's just making me recognize so much about my own life, but also I love how I think with me and Bell talking to you with this around your father, we can be a lot more aggressive. And I love the compassion, the empathy, and the open routes that Ray and Butter have given you, um, in a way that, and I'm not saying you are, but they really have left nowhere for you to run with how they've responded for this. And I'm not saying you're running, but just a figure of speech. I'm just I'm just overwhelmed by the amount of jewels. And just the idea of, but the most profound thing I heard was, what if your parents' only job was to birth you? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're responsible for our own growth. We're responsible for our own development. And I really am just hoping. The reason why I'm making all these faces, but because I'm like, I hope he do something with this one. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't even know what it is, but I just hope you do something with what these brothers have given you today, because this has been the most profound, eye-opening conversation around fatherhood that I've had on our platform since I've been a part of it. And I'm just like, all the gems, all the jewels, everything that was said to you today could be so incredibly helpful, and I really hope it is for you. That's
For
why I was
sure,
looking that way, man. Like this was just great.
for
I'm really
sure.
appreciative and grateful for y'all brothers, man. This was great.
So I with that being said, P, it sounds like it's a good point to kind of close the conversation, man. I again am grateful and appreciate you, brothers. We like to end every episode with a final thought. P, I know you just went, so I'm gonna let you go right before I do, and then we'll go from there. Butter, do us a favor, man. Please give us your final thoughts.
Um, my final thoughts on this. First, let me just say, P, I heard you, and thank you, King. My final thoughts. Parents are just people with children, and we have to give them back their humanity. Because when we rob them of their humanity, we rob ourselves. We don't have to like what they did. We don't even have to know how they got to it. But in many situations and circumstances, if we take a look in the mirror, you with whether you want to be or not, we're their legacy. And from the looks of what they've left for us and left in us, they did all right. It's up to us to know that.
No doubt. Ray, give us your final thought, B.
You know, it's funny. I came here with a final thought, but clearly this final thought was not appropriate for this message right here. So, so we'll change that final thought. So I'm still on the good enough parent. When I am, for those who don't know, I have three boys, 25, 22, and 13. I have gone out of my way to let them know your dad is not perfect. Your dad is not perfect. It's okay. I'm not trying to be perfect. I will never be perfect. So I don't expect that from you. So I don't, the only pedestal I want you to have about me is my dad was there. And that's it. I'm the good enough parent. I tell people all the time, your child only needs a good enough parent. He doesn't need a parent that buys him sneakers, the newest and the best. He or she doesn't need that. They need the good enough parent that's going to be there. Simple as that.
That's what's up. P, somebody, you can say what you just said all over again, but give us your final thought, B.
Nah, man, I'm trying not to cry with that good enough parent because I'm just thinking about how I've been beating myself up with my kids, man, and the things I want to do, and just Ray keeps speaking to that good enough parent. I think lately I've been kind of throwing my hands up a little bit, like fuck it, I am as good as I am, um, and just that idea of being a good enough parent and having the courage to state that to your children, like you were saying, right? I think that's really profound and, and powerful, and may give me some more grace and freedom to kind of, parent day by day. Because I'm very hard on myself as a parent, the most I've ever been right now, um, with my kids. So that's my final thought.
No doubt. I'll say this. In regards to the conversation, there were gems thrown all over the place. And in hearing every word that you guys said, it comes down to the main thing that has prevented anyone from achieving anything, and that's fear. And I think sitting here owning the fact that my fear of being disappointed again and having to process and deal with that hurt again is what has prevented me from opening the door and extending the invitation. And I've chased a number of dreams with no fear. And at this point in my life, I got to shake that off and kind of put it out there and let it do whatever it does. I know if it doesn't work out to the way that I anticipated or would like it to, I got an army of people who got my back and will ride this wave with me.
Indeed.
And I'm not. And it's time to make a move. And I'm gonna process the correct way to do it. I'm gonna go about it slowly, but I'm gonna go about it. I know exactly where I'm gonna start, and I'll have some notes for you fellas sooner than later. And I appreciate y'all. With that being said, this has been another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. We
Mhm.
can be found. We created this show to have a safe space for Black men to openly engage in conversations surrounding mental health, and we do that with consistency. We are back, and we ain't going nowhere. Please, if you have anything you would like for us to talk about, you want to jump on the podcast and have some conversation with us, I'm going to start opening the platform to people to come in and have conversations. November is Men's Mental Health Month. So I think I'm gonna start having a couple live conversations. I think I'm gonna do Wednesday nights, just live, and anybody who has the link and come in and just talk with us, man. And here we can all heal in real time together. But hit us up at all black men need therapy at gmail.com, whatever your concerns are. We also have a voice line. we can play your voicemail on the show or just respond to your voicemail on the show. We even take text messages. It's 860-410-6160. And that is us. And fellas, I love y'all all.
Love you.
I'm
No, no doubt.
thankful.
Love you
I'm
back,
thankful
bro.
for you brothers, man. And I appreciate y'all.
Yo,
So
Prentice,
Yes,
you
sir.
come to homecoming with me, brother. You gotta come to homecoming with me
Oh man, I would love to, man.
in Atlanta. I just got back, man, a couple of weeks ago. You gotta come to homecoming with me, brother.
Oh
y'all
man,
gotta
I'd
make
love
that
to,
happen.
bro.
Y'all gotta make that happen for sure. But
We
as
deep now. I was deep in Atlanta now. We deep.
Man, I'd love to, man. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna make that happen.
No
that's
doubt.
dope.
Okay,
That's
let's make it
dope.
happen.
Y'all, per usual, we close the show. Do us all a favor and hug a black man today
No
Do
doubt.
it.
and
Take
tomorrow,
care.
y'all.
Do it.
Take
We
care,
out.
John.